Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Ask a Muso podcast, brought to you by Yellow Music. Today we're doing it in a softball field, I think. Is it a softball?
Softball or baseball? Somewhere in the heart of Gladstone.
We're in Gladstone Central. We're here for the Justice Trio show at the Queen's, followed by playing in Ellie Beach, which will have happened by the time you listen to this, and we can assure you it was a fun time. Can you believe what Caleb did that when he did that thing?
Oh, mate, it's unspeakable.
And when John and the,
yeah,
oh,
man.
Crazy. And when you took all your clothes off and ran, yeah,
that classified.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
this is a performance. That's satirical.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got my best mate here, Jett. I got Judd Hillsong for those that know the inners. So Jett, say g'day and tell us a little bit about yourself.
G'day. My name is Jett. Also go by the name of Judd. I play drums in a local Sunshine Coast group called Trillions, and I also front another band called the Drop Beers. Yeah,
awesome. Well, I suppose I'll kick off. What's music like to start with for you? Like, how did you get into it? Why drums to start with? How did this all sort of kick off for you?
I'd say going way back to when I was in preschool. My uncle has been in blues bands, cover bands and everything for the last 30 years now, and he'd set up at birthday parties for the family and just play along, and I guess that was sort of an intro to it all, I guess, and wanting to get up and perform with him, but then always bitch it, I guess, just getting stage fright and stuff. And one of the really early things was the Blues Brothers. He put me onto the Blues Brothers really early. So watching Elwood and Jake run rampant through Chicago, Illinois, busting into venues, playing other people's shows and just making absolute fools out of themselves. I thought that shit was unreal. Used to dress up like them in front of the TV and sing the songs to myself, and I suppose that was really the beginning. And it wasn't until COVID was when I started to pick up the drums. I had guitars and basses growing up, but I just never really took much interest into it.
Yeah.
So picked up the drum kit. It might have been the beginning of 2020, I think it was, and just started jamming along to songs that I know really well and practiced my ass off. And 2024 now, 4 years later, and here we are. Yeah,
beautiful. Well, I like that story, and I like that. You must have been so excited when we were running rampant around Illinois, doing crazy, unspeakable things.
But more like Miriam Vale.
okay. That's he's casting aspersions there. If you find out about it, anything he said was a lie. But no, look, I like that. I first sort of came into contact with you through the drumming thing, and I was putting out videos, and still am, obviously, and from that. You reached out, and it was actually, did we discuss earlier as we were walking here, maybe close to a year since you sort of mentioned at Maud's Brewing when I was playing with Sailing in Space for one of those early DIY ones to basically, I'd love to be on that pod, and bless him, I'd already decided I was ending the season for season 3 because it had been a long one, and it had just run its race, and I was like, I'll hit you up. And I didn't lie. I did hit him up. We're here today.
It's only taken just over a year.
Exactly. It's fine. Patience. But look, I think about it now, as we were discussing as we walked over here, much better to do it now than then. It would have been a lot of...
In the heart of Gladstone,
exactly,
everybody.
Nonetheless. The home of the, I don't know, Gladstone, who gives a fucks, whatever they're called. Bless them. They're probably a good team. Speaking of a good team, in the last six months maybe... Dad, at the end of last year, Dad branched out and created Beach Services Sunshine Coast as his personal brand for both his domestic cleaning, maintenance and all that stuff, as well as live production, music production. He sponsored the Delacoma tour. He was a naming rights sponsor on that, as well as just a bunch of other things that we've done, content-wise and otherwise. What drew you into wanting to be a part of, excusing me, what drew you into being a part of that sort of thing that was sort of new to, and the drum tech and the production stuff and all that stuff? What sort of drew you into that?
I think it was mainly just the interest of how everybody's setup was different. Like, because not everyone sets up the same. Not everyone runs 2 crashes, 3 crashes. Sometimes it's 1 crash, 1 ride, and heights adjustments, and sort of getting the hang of doing that. Because I changed my setup copious amounts of times just to try and get comfortable with it and understand how far you could slide the boom out without the ride falling over, and how you could set up that 1 crash where you hit it too much and it runs away from you. Like, just sort of little things like that, and just sort of wanting to help out and be a part of the community as well. Like, I found really early on that there is a big community when it comes to the Sunshine Coast scene,
Sure.
and just trying to be involved in any way, shape or form without being a pest, I suppose.
Yeah.
And just go to those shows, offer to help out, setting up, pulling down, moving stuff to the car, et cetera, and
How can you add something rather than, I'm here, I'm about, I'm fiddling.
I'm here and I want to be your friend.
And I know that it is hard as a muso, and as like being on that side, you know what you'd love to have if you had someone that was really helpful in your corner, and you also know what a pest is. So you both
100%.
You know what not to be, but you also are like, okay, well, you're probably going to assume that I'm here to be annoying, or I'm here to fiddle, or the sound is like, what's this guy doing at the back, or what's this guy doing on the stage? He just didn't play. And you know, when you get those smaller venues and stuff, a lot of that mentality is true. What's he doing here?
Yeah. Who are you?
At a fucking festival, mate, you know?
Where's your wristband?
Yeah,
where's that?
But so you got to instantly come in and be like, no, I'm not a pain in the ass. Like I'm here for a reason.
I'm here with the band, and that's pretty much exactly why I'm here in Gladstone with the Justice Trio, and in a couple of days at Delacoma Group, because I just love helping. Like being able to drive that long leg, because it's like a 14-hour trip from the coast, and it was about 6 hours to get here today. It's to help with the driving, help with the gear, help with everything, I suppose.
Yeah, help with morale, shooting content. Like, there's going to be a sick vlog that's out probably a little bit after this as well, which is going to be a bit of a laugh as well. So there's lots of things at play, and I think it's nice to, like, a lot of people aren't doing it because a lot of people want to be up the front. They want to have the thing that is all about them and stuff like that. And I appreciate you having been a part of this in a different way, and I know that that Dad's loved it, and seeing the Beach Services Sunshine Coast thing grow to go up now north to drive on the road trip and do things that way. It's been really exciting from my perspective, and I know you enjoy it as well. Yeah,
it's definitely exciting, and I'm very appreciative to be able to be let to come on the road and go to those little shows on the coast and help out wherever. And it's not even a case of like you messaging me saying, oh, we're playing here, be there at this time. It's sort of, you pay attention to the gigs. Like, you follow the bands that you really like, and especially like with Sailing in Space and everything. I saw you guys at the end of 2022 at a venue that's no longer open, and fell in love with the sound like straight away, just how different it was from everything else that was at that specific gig.
Yeah, that was happening,
And it's sort of just become a case of follow the band. If they got any local shows that are close to you, just go. And I think I went to nearly everything you had.
After that,
That's
so true.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation with someone on another podcast, which might be last week, I think, if memory serves. And they were just talking about how important it is just to be there. Like, I don't think, hand on heart, you can say you really love something unless you're willing to do... I don't mean do it for free or do it without payment in a way that you should be doing things for exposure. But, like, if you go to a gig, you're doing the live music without the payment because you're just going to enjoy it. You're just there as a spectator. I don't think you can really say you really enjoy something properly, especially if it's like a sport or an art, unless you enjoy other people doing it. And you can appreciate that, and you want to put yourself out there and go to the shows and stuff like that, because that's a big thing. There's a lot of people that don't show up to anything. They don't come to the pre-gig dinner. They don't come to this. They don't come to that. And then they go, sweet, so when's my band, going to be doing X, Y, Z? And everyone's like, sorry, mate, which band are you playing?
Yeah, 100%.
No, it's the band that plays every week. Oh, you play with them?
Yeah.
I thought they were a 3-piece, not a 4-piece.
Yeah.
And, like, I've seen that happen live and gone, does that not make you feel awkward? Like, does that not make person X feel a little awkward?
Yeah.
Because everyone sort of knows who everyone else is because they're always there. They're always amongst it. Think about Chamberlain. Like, the amount of times people have asked me if I play in Chamberlain even though I look nothing like Seth, bless him. We love Seth.
We love Seth very much.
But it's just like that whole thing is we're always around it at Chamberlain gigs, and we're always around at Trillions gigs, obviously.
Yeah,
but like
yeah,
always around it.
I play in the band, guys.
So yeah, you don't often go to the gigs, but you're often there.
Yeah, I don't get a choice.
Exactly. So all those things, like we're always about, and I think that's such a big thing for our music scene in particular is the people that you know you can rely on are the people that are there when they don't have to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Paid or free.
Yeah.
Because I don't know of many other circles, certainly not from where I'm from in Victoria, that there was a culture of I would pay to see you. It was very much, yeah, but we're boys.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, but if we're boys, don't you want your boy to be able to get some ticket folding from this?
Yeah, so you pay the money, you're paying the money to support the band, you're not paying just to get in there. Because the bands take a percentage of ticket sales. And
brilliant places like the Precinct, they take all of it.
Yeah, it's really good how they do that. And you have the option to set the ticket price of what you want. Mm-hmm. So you're pretty much running the risk of making it too much and not getting anybody in the door, or making it a reasonable price that people would want to pay to come in, and therefore you get more traffic through the door, and then you get more money in your pocket at the end of the day. And
I think having that balancing act and putting it on the artist a little bit, it's not fair to not have the pressure on an artist to actually want to do their best and be their best, but also to just willy-nilly go, I'd like to do a show, please, miss. And then, yeah, sure, we'll let you. How many people you reckon you'll bring? I don't know.
Oh, it's a guessing game. Like, you can't really rely on that. You sort of got to be confident enough in yourself, in your band, in your product to be able to go, we want to play Saturday night here at this. We want this lineup.
Yep.
We're going to
bust our ass
to promote it, put it everywhere we possibly can, walk around town, put up flyers, posters. Social media is obviously a big part of it as well.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Just balls to the wall, even if it's a small show, even if it's like a venue that holds 50 people, like you want to be able to pack that place out, because the venue goes, oh shit, these guys know what they're doing. These guys can put on a really good show. They can draw a lot of people, and then that opens up more opportunities down the line for you and your band and whichever bands are on the lineup as well.
Yeah, it's attitude and effort. That's what makes and breaks the music scene. Like, because effort can take someone that isn't maybe the best band you've ever seen, but you can see that they are honing their craft, as opposed to people that are just show up and play. It's like I have experienced that recently, and we've discussed off air about that. A band that I played with, not in the band, but supported recently, that are literally just to show up and play. Like they are.
Yeah.
Roadies do everything. I never even met them. Like roadies do everything. They show up, play. I had to head back up to a gig in Calandra, hence why I missed. But there was no sound check. There was no pre-stuff. It was all roadies do all the work, set it all up, pack it all down. They play their set, and they go home. And that's just, for me, that takes half the fun out of it. I want to be, like, I want assistance. Like, I would never say no to you coming because it's getting a little easy with the amount of help you're giving me. I'd never say that.
No, you don't.
But,
yeah, it's more a case of like, oh, if you're going to be there, just...
You just said, no, you don't. You never say that.
I do everything, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, whatever, anyways. As you were saying.
I can't remember what I was saying.
Fuck. No, all I was just going to say was that like, the idea of having... Like, to be in it, I'm a strong believer that something that is so unequivocally easy and takes no energy and effort, it gets to the point where it's like, shit, my part's a real small part now. I almost feel bad for taking the credit. And maybe that's just me as a person. Some people are happy to do, like, get something for doing barely anything. They're more than happy to do that. And I like the idea of having a cruisy thing where there's not much stress involved. But, like, right now, like, tonight, we got a gig in, like, essentially we kick off in about 4 hours. That's cool, not because I don't have to do anything work-wise other than play. It's because I can just cruise, we can easily have dinner, we can easily chillax, and then play. It's not like, fuck shit, we really should wrap up because we've got like 4 seconds before we should probably start moving to the next thing, and then how are we going to have a chance to eat? And being able to ease those stresses and having you on board that's helped do that sort of stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
And just not have the pressure of that, like when it comes to touring and stuff, not having the pressure of, fuck, I got to be awake for this because I got to make sure I do all the driving when we come back.
Got to make sure I get my 8 hours sleep. Got to make sure I have breakfast in the morning. Blah,
exactly.
blah, 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 blah. It's the way we sort of planned this out, like just today in general, it worked out fantastic. Yeah,
and we had some nice stops on the way, which you'll see some funny things, some places that I can't remember the name of.
The Golden Nugget.
Exactly, the Golden Nugget. A ski lodge north of Gympie or south of Gympie. Looks like a ski lodge.
Yeah, just south of Gympie.
Just south of Gympie. Looks
Great
like a ski lodge.
Great food, by the way.
Yeah, really good cook up. Felt like you were sort of it's like a American Roadhouse, but the food was edible.
Yeah, it was
proper
great.
bacon. But
proper bacon, real eggs.
Yeah,
hash browns are processed, but that's
look, still potato, mate. It's
still
veggies.
potato.
It's veggies. So, mate, the drop beers. Tell me a little bit about that. I chatted a little bit about it in passing with Salmon, who plays drums in drop beers. But
he does, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the drop beers. What's it about? What do you do in it? Other than wear funny sunglasses and yeah, what's a bit of the goss on that? Looks like a fucking bee or a fly or something.
The boys call it the Mad Scientist.
Okay, yeah.
So,
wear a
just
lab
by the
coat.
way, I just want to tee in here, Riley Newman, the drop beers don't suck. So eat your heart out, mate. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
Not buying it, mate.
Not buying it.
No, it's fine.
So
You seem over that, though.
I am over it. I'm very over
you
it.
seem fine.
It's been over a week.
Yeah, you seem fine.
Yeah, so it sort of started, really started like Connor Hansen from Chamberlain, as we all know. He would go live on Chamberlain TikToks every second or third night or whatever, and I'd just jump on and just see what the fuss was about. He'd play a few acoustic songs and everything. And there was one night where I was just watching and he saw that I joined, and this is before we sort of knew each other just from playing a couple of shows together here and there, but it was sort of only me on the stream, and we just started talking about music influences, music we didn't like, music we did like, all sorts of things like that. And yeah, it sort of just took off from there. And there was a couple of months later, I was at a family dinner with my partner's family, and he rang me at like 8:30 drunk, as Connor Hansen does.
Way to just out him. You've already said that his live streamer only had one viewer, and now you're like, so he was fucked, and he called me.
He did, yeah. But the funny thing was, I was also fucked. I was on the Reds.
Oh, naughty cordial.
Don't mind a Cab Sav or a whatever the other ones are
Or
called.
other red wines.
They all taste good.
He was trying to impress you. He failed.
I am a wine connoisseur, but not that kind of connoisseur.
Yep.
And
good consumer. I think the word you meant. You're a wine consumer.
And it sort of ended up going for it was like a 20-minute phone call. I had nowhere else to go. I went into the bathroom thinking it was just going to be a quick one. And I had him on speakerphone.
The first time Jett's gone into the bathroom, I think it's going to be a quick one. And that's all from me. I'm barely over here all week.
Yeah. See him at the Queen's Hotel.
Yeah, I'm doing a comedy spot after we finish.
And we sort of just started riffing on the idea of starting something as fun and just writing songs together, because I've been open to do that since the beginning, like just to collaborate with people and try and make a bigger name for your product, I guess. Not that I really have a product in say, like I have obviously Trillions, and I put at least everything into that I possibly can.
Yep.
And yeah, we just sort of had the idea, we'll just pick one muso from every band that we like on the coast and just try and make something out of it. And we ended up poaching Sam from City Council, Caleb Reno from, I don't know,
everything else,
Delacoma,
the Justice Trio,
Postcode President, the Justice Trio, Treehouse, and then Daniel Salmon, which that was Connor's picking. You were in the States, we did have a jam lined up with you at one point, and Connor just said, we'll just bring Salmon in to see what happens. And we didn't really have an idea of genre. We were sort of thinking like Beastie Boys, but as soon as we played the first song, like the first riff that we had, and he just lit up that soundbox room, and we were trying to stay composed because we just got like super excited straight away.
You're like little teenage girls.
Yeah, it was just like, holy fuck, man. Like, I guess that's sort of when we knew that we shouldn't just do this for fun. We should actually take it a little bit more seriously than what we planned. Yeah. And we rehearsed. We wrote like 3 songs. We rehearsed them. Ended up pulling a gig out of our ass after being together for like a month at the Precinct. Played that. Absolutely killed it. Filled with covers, obviously, because we had no proper material. But people loved it. The Precinct asked for us back not long after that in Feb. Just after the new year, we played another show and people showed up to see. Just the community showed up, basically, and we weren't really expecting that. And it sort of just took off from there. So we decided to record. We jumped straight in the studio. We went to 6-string in Biwa, recorded 3 songs in a day, all live tracked. And what's today's date? The
26th of April.
26th, yeah. The first single comes out on the 9th of May, so it'll probably be out by the time you see this episode.
Yes, actually, because the episode before would have gone out on the 7th. So
we sort of just went all guns blazing with it all, and yeah, it sort of worked out. And our 3rd gig ever with 3 original songs, we landed a headline show at Soul Bar, which is almost unheard of, you could say.
It's pretty, it's good shit.
On your 3rd show, so yeah, it's only up from here, I suppose, and we'll see what happens. We'll try not to get cancelled because there's you know what the world's like right now.
Yeah, it's not particularly PC. You don't bring your underage kids to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's 18 plus.
It's an 18 plus musical feature, but it's good fun. It's good energy. It's fast and heavy, and it's good fun.
Great energy, and it's sort of a really down to earth Aussie culture inspired music, I could say. Like, if you love getting on the piss, if you love having a smoke, if you love hanging out with your neighbour Wayne,
if he may or may not be a delinquent,
the drop beers are definitely for you.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to ask, what's sort of the goal for you music wise now? Like, ironically, just like Salmon, he was playing drums, and originally when he met Riley, he was conducting. He was the wingman.
Yeah.
But then now he's playing kit more in drop ears, stuff like that, as well as picking up some other things that we've thrown his way. But what's the goss with your journey now, having sort of done the inverse? You started during a cough to get together behind the kit. Now doing the harsher vocals with drop ears. What do you see more of a love coming from now? Or even if you put a 3rd one in there in like the teching and the stage production work, where do you see your real love coming from?
I think it's a combination of all 3, to be honest. Like, playing drums, like, I remember my very first gig at Greaser on the 7th of January last year. Like, I was so high off that feeling. Like, I was nervous as all hell. I'd maybe sculled like 3 or 4 Kraken and Cokes before I went on, just to settle the nerves. And we ended up playing a pretty good, tight show for our first ever gig. And I was like high off that to the point where I could not sleep that next night. And I still get that. Like, I still get that. If we play a really solid show and I'm behind the kit, like, I still get those like jitters, like, holy fuck. Like, we just did that.
Right.
That was fun. So much energy. The people were into it. And also sitting up the back and just looking out at the room filled with people. Like, it's like they're here because we're doing this, and they're here because of that, which is absolutely awesome. And whether that's the community or whether that's the people off the street, whether it's family and friends, like, the whole thing, it's just absolutely unreal. And
Absolutely.
The teching side, like, I always like to pick the brain of other drummers and see what their setup is, like, here and there. And that's also landed me some opportunities to go sound check for some other local bands when their drummer can't make it. Like, I did one for Nuff and Butter. Like, absolutely love those boys. And then Pity Vincent also hit me up as well one night, or actually 2 occasions they did. I couldn't make the second one, so Daniel Salmon jumped in on that for me.
Yeah, perfect. But
yeah, it was just with that. But drop beers is a lot of fun. Like, being up the front, you don't sort of have to put on a facade. You can sort of be yourself, in a sense, like, with like a bit of over exaggeration.
That's probably fair. Yeah,
to put that energy up in there. But I don't know what it is. Like, I sort of enjoying this frontman thing a lot at the moment because it's new.
Yeah,
and I could take you back to like 2012 in grade 7. Like, I was performing like dance in school musicals and everything, like being up the front in front of like an auditorium full of people and absolutely loving it. And that was sort of like the last thing I did to do with being up the front and performing, because I jumped into high school, jumped into even more sport and everything before I turned to music. So like to come back to that and actually do it sort of as a mature adult, it's like, yeah, it's absolutely unreal. It's fun. And I'm doing it with like mates that I love, like good blokes that all love the same thing. And it just makes it that much more fun when everybody's into it. Everybody wants to achieve the same goal. And yeah, I suppose that's
beautiful.
Yeah.
I get that. I think that's really neat. And we were chatting in the car during the highway trivia sections, and it was like we got to the end after about 4 questions that no one would get. Unless anyone at home knows the reason that it's called the Burnett River, or who it's named after.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint. It's not a premier. It's not a prime minister.
It's not anyone of any real significance.
No, anyone of any note.
He's a surveyor.
Yeah, James Burnett.
Like a surveyor and what?
Yeah, it's like oh, the groundskeeper already had a bridge named after him, so they went with the surveyor.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, for me, that just sounds like low-hanging fruit. At this rate, I reckon maybe a clubhouse of a football ground. Maybe I might get my name on there. Perhaps the Bailey Walker baseball field at Gladstone. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just spitballing. You know where to find me. Hit me up on Instagram if you have any council requests. But I did want to ask you, what are your thoughts on? So like you're talking about learning, and there's been a lot of obviously learning opportunities that come from your tech work and literally getting together with people, as well as playing different instruments and stuff like that. But what would you say is something that you would like to, an area you'd like to improve as a musician?
Everything. Like everything's always a learning curve. Like playing the drums for say, like everybody makes mistakes. Like you're not going to play the perfect show every single time. Same with the front man. Like you're not going to hit that note every time. You're not going to put on the best performance of all time. Like you may do something and you go,
wouldn't do that again.
Probably shouldn't have done that. Like I made myself look like an absolute fuckwit, and that turns people's heads away. Like if you carry on like that, they go, oh fuck, I don't want to go see them again. That guy was an absolute wanker.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just learning, being able to like take in as much information and absorb it all into once, like to learn for future opportunities.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, that is important. I think it goes back to that whole thing about attitude and wanting to learn and giving a shit enough. Like, because I think there's an interesting balance between being so overly critical that it's like uncomfortable, and I'm like, I literally don't want to be around you the moment we finish a gig because you're so overly critical it actually makes me unhappy.
Yeah.
Because you and then people start rejecting compliments. That was a good set. No, it was fucking awful.
Yeah.
Okay, you're never going to get a compliment again. But I think there is a certain element of rigor in going, you know what, I think the reason I'm actually as nervous about how I played is literally because I care so much about who we're doing it for, which is the audience.
That is actually a really good way to put it.
There is a balance.
That is a great way to put it. Like being so nervous and so anxious at the fact that like you care about what the people think and you want to put on the best absolute show you can. And that one little mess up, like I'm guilty of it before. Like I've had like other drummers in the crowd, as we all know, like you have like far more superior drummers, you could say, in the crowd. And you know they're watching you, and like as a drummer, and I'm pretty sure every drummer can admit to this, like your eyes do not leave that kit for at least 80% of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just locked in. You're probably learning something. You're probably critiquing something, and like as a drummer sitting up there knowing there's other drummers in the crowd, like your head's ticking, going,
for sure.
I better not fuck up here because they'll notice it. Everybody here is going to notice it.
Yep.
But at the end of the show, nobody really does notice it except for the drummer.
Yeah, and also
in the crowd, so
I'm hardly going to come up guns blazing and go, "Oi, cockhead, that fucking sucked." Like, I'm not going to do that, am I? Like,
no,
more than once. But yeah, no, like that's, and I think that goes back to something that I put in the video that you helped me shoot. And for those who haven't seen it, the video that I did about overcoming stage fright. When I was saying it as Jett was sort of watching it live, I was talking about. Yes, it's important to learn from the audience and from other people, but also the judgment factor, which a lot of people don't factor in. The moment you stop worrying that everyone's going to say you're the worst piece of crap that's ever stood behind the microphone, stepped in front of a guitar, etc., the more you realize that no one actually really does think that. And like, I would like you to, journal prompt for the week, go up to a couple of people that are in your circles after you've done something, or you say, oh, I'm planning on doing this thing. Like I was saying today that when we were in a couple of smaller towns, it didn't end up happening just because of timing, but I was like, I want to show someone the distant reel and be like, what do you think of our music? And perhaps maybe definitely like 3 years ago, probably more like 4 years ago, I would have been like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going to do that.
Not a chance, no.
But then I'm like, okay, how about if I genuinely ask you all do you actually care if I do that? No one's going to care.
No.
And like a couple of people might go, oh, I'm not really interested. And you go, okay. And a couple of people might go, okay,
yeah,
sure. Like
it is what it is.
Exactly. The amount of people that actually really genuinely care about every little idiosyncrasy and mistake you ever make, it's such a small list, it may as well be none. And like, it's almost an arrogance thing. Like, don't consider your decision so highly that you think that any little intricate mistake that you make where you hit, 2 kick pedals and the second one didn't have as much go in it, that everyone's going to hang shit on you for that. And the moment you actually stop judging yourself and stop judging others, you really do find that the judgment and those stage fright nerves, they're not really as there nearly as much as they ever used to be.
One thing I sort of do now as well is I use it as fuel.
For sure.
Like if someone's there, like for instance, we did a show up in Ole Nusa last year. One person in particular on the coast who's very big on supporting local music, we were like 30 seconds into our first song and out loud he's go, these blokes are fucking shit. And we didn't hear it, of course, but because we were playing, but surrounding people did hear it, and they referred the feedback to us. And yeah, that pissed me off. Yeah, that pissed Lewis and James off as well. And right now, like, I use that shit as fuel. Like, if someone honestly thinks that your product is that bad, that's their own issue. But internally, I'm like, I'm going to use that as fuel and put as much energy and effort into every single show and put on a performance that's worthy of people going, oh shit, that was pretty fucking cool. And you get those people come up after this show, they give you the handshake, they man, that was awesome, the pat on the back, like all those good things do come out of it as well if you use that negative energy the right way. Yeah,
don't be despondent, be driven.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I think that's a nice way to put a pin in it, actually, man. Like, don't be despondent, be driven. Like, you shouldn't have to take on board in a negative sense and carry this egregious negative feedback just for the sake of it. But I think there's a lot to be said for your own strength to be able to go, oh, you said, oh, the drummer's not up to much. And I'm like, okay, why do you reckon he said that? Did I actually do something wrong? Yeah, I did make a couple of mistakes. It was inappropriate what they said, but you know what? Whatever. Okay, sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
sure, okay.
I'll show you next time, mate.
Yeah, and also, you're only hating because you aren't creating.
Yeah, exactly.
In a lot of cases.
You're only there to just get blind.
And then throw stones.
Stupid shit out, yeah.
Exactly. That's more of a reflection of you than is in me. But yeah, take it on and really, go forth, push it. And I think a lot of that, as I was referring to before, when you get Sandies that come up and go, Justice Trio, mate, who are you? Number 4.
Number 4.
Not a fucking festival, mate. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you conduct yourself with professionalism and say, no, I'm actually part of the band. I'm here for this. You'll notice, Jett, I'm on the list. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Sorry about that. Apologies.
Or you could be an absolute dick and just go...
Oh, actually, asshole. That's just...
Yeah, that just creates worse situations. That creates a bad look for you, the band you're helping, or the band you're in. Because word doesn't take long to spread around the coast.
No.
The word does not take long to
Across
spread at
anywhere.
all. Yeah, literally anywhere. You could do something and then by Monday, people will be asking you, what'd you do?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, shit spreads that quickly. Like, and you don't need that negativity shed
you don't.
On your band. Like,
you just don't need that sort of negativity anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Well, guys, that's another episode of the Ask Muso podcast. Lovely to finally catch up with Jett in arguably the most ratchet location ever. I had Caleb flashing parts of his body that...
Yeah, where did he
are egregious to discuss.
Hey, I think they know that we smuggled him.
Yeah, I think the feds are on him.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Look.
There he is.
There he is.
There he is, you cheeky devil. Oh, don't put his face in the grass.
Yeah,
he's a good kid. He would have submitted to arrest.
Leave him alone.
Well, we'll get him later. We'll bring the GoPro. We'll do one of those things where we film the police or something, I guess. So, look, best of luck to the young girls playing netball. And also, big rap for Queen's Gladstone. They've been nothing but beautiful and hospitable whilst we've been here already. So, big shout out to them. And... we'll be in Airlie and then we'll be back on the coast doing the do. So, as always, guys, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, beachservices.sc on Instagram, and your handles, sir?
Handles Jett, Jett.Hewson, Hewson on Instagram, at the Drop Beers, which is pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
Trillions_AU on Instagram. Trillions on Spotify. We have one single out at the moment called Sick. It's just shy of hitting 10K streams.
That's
so
awesome. Hopefully it has by the time
go
you're listening.
stream it, and then hopefully by the time you're hearing this, our new single Blow Away will be on all streaming services, which comes out on the 3rd of May. And if you're not doing anything on the 17th, the Drop Beers release show with Stairmaster and the Phosophenes is happening Friday the 17th of May. So if you want to come and see what the fuss is all about, come down and
beautiful. Nice and
give it a
busy.
rip.
Lots on.
Buy some beers and
Have a
maybe even win the meat tray we might have up for grabs.
You never know, boys. Well, guys, that's another episode of the Ask Muso podcast. Thanks so much for joining me, Jett, and thanks so much for joining us in the Gladstone baseball field of a nearby school.
We love you, Gladstone.
We love you, Gladstone. So, you know, Apple Podcast, Spotify, you know where to find all these. And until next time, I'll see you later.
Oh!